Hey guys, it's Devin from Project Devo here. New episode today. Today we're talking about Subaru. We're talking about STI in specific, WRX STI. We're talking about where it's looking like being in the future. We're talking about the new car that was just debuted in Japan at the Tokyo Auto Show. We're talking about a bunch of things. And I think where we need to start off first, it's a controversial thing, but you have to understand to a lot of people, which I'm talking not just the guys that are Subaru guys, I'm talking to the guys that are currently in the tuning community that may not understand exactly what STI is and what STI stands for and what it means as a whole to have that STI badge on the car. So, in layman's terms, STI is a performance branch of Subaru. It stands for Subaru Technica International. Basically, it's Subaru's performance division. Anything that hits the racetrack, anything that hits a rally stage, anything that hits like that is STI produced. Um, And what that means is that you may have a car that may not necessarily be a high performance model that may have STI stashed parts on it. For example, if you go to any Subaru dealership and you go through their accessory book, they have STI branded like shift knobs, pedal replacements, stuff like that. Just performance looking add ons or eccentrics to bolt onto the car to make it look a little bit more aggressive. Um, Also, the progression of STI was developed on the rally stages at the first STI, WRX STI type RA back in 93, all the way up until the STI, as they call it, the car. I'm going to quote it because it's a hard quote. Car was discontinued in 2022 or 2021. Sorry. Um, and that's one thing that I wanted people to understand. STI is not a car. Okay. It is a performance package on a vehicle. For example, since the inception of STI, it's always been paired with the WRX. Um, Whether that WRX was on the Impreza WRX platform or the WRX platform circa 2014 when it turned over to the VA chassis, it was a WRX platform with a performance package on it, which included a different engine and a different transmission package, as well as differentials. There is The car is not an STI. I mean, STI. It's not a car. It's a performance package on a chassis. For example, there was a limited run of STI BRZs, and you don't see BRZ owners that have these things run around saying, "Oh, I have an STI," and that's basically what it is. It's the same thing that the SS trim package is to a Chevy person. It's the same thing. It's virtually just a performance division. Same thing with GR Corolla. Your Ganju Racing Corolla, you don't go up to and go, "Oh, I have a GR." You say you have a GR Corolla or a GR Supra. Like, it's the same thing. Virtually the same thing. The STI owners, a lot of them, which don't get pissed off at me, I'm just referring to the website, Subaru's official websites, including Subaru Global, Subaru USA, and Subaru Japan, that it's basically the performance division of Subaru, and that's why it's badged on the vehicle, because it's their trim update for that chassis. Actually, in Japan, shit, it was on like every damn chassis that they made at one point. So, I mean, back in like the late 2000s, I mean, they had Foresters with STI badging on them. So, it's just the package. Yes, it has more power. Yes, there were subtle differences between the WRX and the STI packages, the base WRX package and the STI package coming up through the years. But realistically, it's a trim package with extra oomph, a lot of extra oomph, put it that way. Now, getting into the STI that they debuted in Japan and why it was such a controversial thing. The STI they debuted in Japan was to fill a market need. Not a lot of people know this, but every single WRX, every single STI that they sold in Japan after the VB chassis drop, so 2022, was a CVT high torque automatic transmission, including the a S220 or S219, whatever number they're at right now, for the special edition only 500 only in chassis developmental package. That car made 350 or 345 or something like that to the ground. They only sold 500 of them, and it was an automatic. That's what it is. So Japan was in desperate want and need in that market for a manual transmission car. So Subaru made it a big deal. Subaru Japan made it a big deal to blast it out on social media that they were bringing a new STI to the Tokyo Auto Show. This new STI, the reason it was such a big idea was because it was going to bring back the 6-speed manual transmission that came in its predecessor that was replaced by a CVT automatic. That's it. So when you go and look at it and go, oh shit, that is just a USDM TR badge with an STI badge and sold in Japan, newsflash, 98% of the WRXs that are sold in Japan have an STI badge on them. And to you guys over here that have STIs will say, well, it's not an STI. And my answer to that is, well, it's an STI because freaking Subaru said it's an STI. So every single freaking Subaru over in Japan, if you go on Subaru JP's or Japan's website and you go click a WRX, every single package on that thing is going to say STI on it. Now there is different tiers, different trims and special editions and whatnot, like dumb stuff and all different types of shit. But it is what it is. That's what's going on. That's why that car was debuted. However, this is what a lot of people miss because there's a lot of cool shit going on at that STI booth. One of them, we're probably going to save for a later video because I want to do some more research on it when more data comes out on it and more stuff comes out on it, but I haven't been able to dig up a lot of stuff on it. So eventually we will talk about the BRZ that has a 6-cylinder boxer in it that's flipped. So the exhaust is on top and the intake's underneath. And it's twin turbo. We'll talk about that. However, on this episode, we're going to stick straight to that STI booth and what we may see a new STI look like. So one of the big things was a couple months ago at the Tokyo Automation Show, which is another type of Subaru auto show or car show in Japan that my manufacturer's debut at. They debuted this car, the Performance B. Hatchback, big wing, center piped exhaust coming out the back, 2.4-liter boxer engine, and this thing looked stupid close to production. Stupid close to production. And it's a hatch. And everybody was over here was talking about how they would want to buy a hatch WRX and all this other crazy shit. Well, there's pretty much your answer to it right here. Now, what's even cooler, well, that's a lot of people missed because they were too busy bitching and complaining about the next generation STI that they thought they were going to get that we found out we were not getting. And that being a manual transmission and only being sold in Japan and just being basically a TR and everybody being all pissed. They missed the race section that was on this side of the booth that happened to have a Performance Spec B race car sitting right there that looked way more closer to a production car than this one did, which was the prototype. So here's the thing. I don't know many car manufacturers that go out and build fucking race cars that are seen on a track weekly that don't hit the showroom later, especially when you're R&Ding them. And I'm going to put some stuff up here in the top corner that I'm going to scroll down, which we're going to show up real quick here. This is Subaru's Global's webpage where they're talking about the auto show booth. And then if you click on the other link, there's going to be a link there that says where they're competing in racing this year. And the cool thing about that is this Performance Spec B guy right here is running in a prototype series, racing touring series that is a 24-hour like Le Mans style, 24-hour Daytona style endurance racing series. So the best way to R&D a car is to run in an endurance series because you're pushing it to its limit over hours and hours of driving. So you're gonna be able to test your aerodynamics, your longevity of the engine, how much how much the suspension is going to take. You can do real world testing in this R&D. And the funny thing is, the division that this car races in, which if you look on the video here, I'm going to highlight it for you, is that it's in a R&D division. So this car is getting R&D'd to races and be brought out at some point into production, whether it's in the United States or whether it's in Japan. Honestly, I think if they sold this damn car in any form in the United States, it would sell like hotcakes because for some reason the hatchbacks are going like wildfire. And this thing would definitely compete just by looking at it, eyeballing it. It looks like the wheelbase is somewhat similar to the GR Corolla, which means this thing with the 2.4 liter boxer in it, the FA24, which we've known because it's been out for a couple of years now, how much power these things can actually make on the lower end, is going to be a street monster. You're going to be getting a base platform that, especially if they make this thing, which in the previous auto salon, it had the look to have the 6-speed STI transmission in it from the VA and its predecessor. This car is set to be, if it is produced, probably one of the best Subaru performance platforms that they've ever made. Now, whether or not it comes to fruition, maybe it ends up on we get another administration in here. They change the EPA standards again. They raise them up again, and this goes back to the trash can in the corner of the office again. We don't know, but all we do know is that this car is getting R&D'd. It's not on the street anywhere, and all the pictures and stuff that we've been getting out of this vehicle look close to production, meaning at some point this thing that could get the green light and we could be seeing this car. And reading the information on that webpage I just showed you, this car has been running since late 2015, mid 2015 maybe, in this touring series in Japan, in this endurance series. So this could be mostly what this new STI would look like. Basically, what I'm asking here is if we all, as a Subaru community, just chill out and let Subaru cook. Because all we do is bitch about how ugly the car is, which back in the early 2000s and the late 90s, if we gave a shit about how ugly the cars were, we wouldn't buy fucking any of them. Because most of those cars were freaking shoeboxes on wheels. Let's be honest. We cared more about the power plant. So yes, the VB may be ugly as shit. The ass end may be ugly, but here's the funny thing. If you have a VB and you're smoking an STI because the dude can only make 425 without having to put a brand new short block in it, and you still have your factory block in it, and you have bolt-ons, you're smoking them, guess who's looking at the ugly ass end of your car? The dude in the STI. That's complaining that's just talking about all the shit because he had an STI in the parking lot. So let Subaru cook. Let's chill here and be patient, and let's see if they give us what this looks like they may be hitting at. I know Overtake did a video on it. I will do more videos on them if they debut some more information. It is going to be an exciting time over the next 1.5 to 2 years here with what's coming out from all of the auto manufacturers, from GR, from Toyota, from Nissan, because Nissan dropped a couple Nismo stuff. It should be an interesting time. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they have in store. I'm really looking forward to what Overtake and some of these other guys that are doing these Subaru collab videos are going to show up to. I'm also really, really excited for some of this EPA changing that the U.S. government just did, where they lowered some of the standards here and really opened it up for the auto manufacturers to keep producing gas-powered engines until they get this EV hybrid shit figured out. I think it's really good for the auto industry. I also think that the future of the auto industry should be dependent more on hybrids. That's just my personal opinion. But like I said, this was the Subaru STI episode. Like, comment, subscribe. A couple weeks here, we'll be getting back into the viewers' rides videos. Hit us up on Instagram. Hit us up on TikTok. You guys have a good one.